Imagine standing on a beautiful beach only to find it covered in plastic waste. It isn't just an eyesore, it's a growing crisis for marine life. Every year, over 11 million metric tons of plastic waste enter our oceans, threatening the animals and ecosystems that depend on them. I first noticed this issue during a vacation to the beach just a couple of months ago, and I saw it again in another shoreline just recently. Cigarette butts and plastic waste were everywhere, a stark reminder of the urgent need to protect marine biodiversity. Plastic pollution harms marine animals in devastating ways. Many ingest plastic, mistaking it for food, while others become trapped in discarded waste. Over 90% of seabirds have plastic in their stomachs, and microplastics, tiny fragments that have never fully disappeared, are now in 70% of marine species studied. These plastics even enter our food chain, affecting human health. 14 million tons of plastic enter the ocean annually. Small actions can make a big difference. Use reusable bottles and bags, avoid single use plastics, join a cleanup. Every piece of plastic kept out of the ocean matters. Larger systematic changes are crucial too. Let's now talk to an expert. Who am I here with and who do you work for?
Hello, my name is Ellie Mallon. I work for a company called Osprey Initiative, and I am our Senior Operating Officer.
Can you explain a little bit what Osprey is?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Osprey Initiative is an environmental consulting firm who focuses a lot in litter removal and recycling initiatives.
What is your favorite part about working with Osprey?
I think my favorite part about working with Osprey is getting to work with a bunch of other really great organizations that are also focused on removing litter from our local and urban waterways. It's just really great to work on fun projects all across the United States with people who are like minded.
Can you explain a little bit what devices you use for collecting trash?
Yeah, so at Osprey, we have 3 different litter collection devices that we use in non-navigable waterways to capture trash. Primarily, we focus on capturing floatable litters, so thinking like styrofoam cups or plastic or aluminum cans, stuff like that. One of the devices is called a litter getter. It sits in water and just kind of passively waits for the rain to come, washes the storm drains, gets all that trash off the streets and off our sidewalks, into your closest creek or river, right? It sits there passively, and it is a cage that floats. It's made out of aluminum, and it's got booms that attach to either side. Those booms can be attached in a number of different ways, but really great device that doesn't require any mechanics or any fancy robotics or anything like that. So the other two, one of them is called a litter boom. So very similar concept, sits passively in non-navigable waterways, meaning we can't have boats driving up and down them. Kayaks and canoes are totally fine. We don't need boat motors tearing up the boom. That is basically a floating device that sits on top of the waterway. It's got about a 6-inch drop on it, so it just captures all that floating litter like we were talking about earlier. It's actually a modified oil stop boom. So if you've ever seen those videos of oil spills out in the ocean, it's a modified version of that. So it has a much, much, much shorter drop on it. So we're not capturing the whole water column, just skimming the top of it. And then the last one is called a litter interceptor, and those are ones that you can put inside stormwater inlets. So when you walk around like a mall or up and down the street, you see where the stormwater can leave the street and go into the storm system, and those devices will sit right there and capture any bottles or cans or anything really that gets thrown out of cars or just along our streets, and it'll capture it there at that source rather than waiting all the way to get to the river or stream where it would end up.
Perfect. And what are some ways that we can help?
I think there's lots of ways people can get involved with, litter reduction and recycling and everything like that. My 2 biggest recommendations would be don't litter. It's really easy. Everywhere you're going is going to have a trash can. Everybody always says like your mama doesn't live here, right? And so it's your job to keep the place that we're traveling to and from, and the place you go to school, and the place you go to the playground or anything like that clean. If you see trash on the ground, go ahead and pick it up if it's in a safe environment. And then if you are going to be able to recycle in your community or recycle anywhere, make sure you're following the rules. We want to make sure that we're recycling the right material so that stuff doesn't end up in the landfill also.